Welcome to the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Tuesday, July 5th. Over the next few days, we'll see a very familiar weather pattern with gusty winds and dry conditions over southern and central areas of the Great Basin, and also with the zephyr winds along the Sierra front. We will see some isolated thunderstorms today in the far north, but the best coverage of lightning today will be over eastern Utah as moisture briefly returns to the eastern side of the basin. By Wednesday, these thunderstorms will move more into northeast Utah and still have isolated storms throughout Thursday through far northern areas in central Idaho. Temperatures will continue warming. Relative humidity will be dropping as we get later in the week and through the weekend, so we will see a significant change in our fuels with respect to fuel moisture and which areas are critical. Over the last 24 hours, we only saw a few lightning strikes in far southeast Utah and a few showers up north, but mostly dry conditions for the July 4th holiday. We also had quite a few new starts with the holiday. 30 new starts reported across the Great Basin. Most of those stayed small. We did have some size to some fires up in northern Utah. Over the last 7 to 14 days, very dry conditions have continued over the western half of the Great Basin, with any precipitation associated with thunderstorm activity across Utah, and then very spotty precipitation up north. 100-hour fuel moisture has certainly dropped to critical levels over much of western Utah into the southern two-thirds of Nevada and even over parts of southern Idaho. The satellite loop from this morning shows a trough of low pressure off the west coast, which will be fairly constant with the ridge to our east. However, as the week goes on, we will see that ridge start to build back further west with increasing temperatures, but still the influence of that trough will continue with breezy winds across the Great Basin. Later today, you can see the moisture increasing again across eastern Utah temporarily, so we will see showers and thunderstorms. These will be a mix of wet and dry storms in areas where fuels have still seen some moisture from last week, so are still kind of on the lower end of ERC thresholds. Further west, however, continued dry conditions. You will see a low to moderate fire risk. Relative humidity today will again be elevated over eastern Utah where that moisture returns. However, further west, relative humidity generally in the low teens, and those gusty winds gusting around 30 miles per hour, just below critical thresholds. So we have not issued any high risk, but we will see gusty winds across much of western Utah into southern and eastern Nevada and along the Sierra front. As we move into Wednesday, a very similar pattern, but that moisture in eastern Utah gets pushed a little bit further east. So we will see more isolated lightning and mainly confined to parts of far eastern or northeast Utah. Also a little bit of moisture still in central Idaho. Relative humidity remains low and will start dropping again over eastern Utah. Gusty winds very similar to today across many of the same areas around 30 miles per hour. We also will see some breezy winds over parts of eastern Idaho. As we move into Thursday, still that trough of low pressure. The ridge starts to build back. However, we do see drier conditions region-wide. Relative humidity drops to the single digits to low teens across much of Nevada, Utah, and southern Idaho. Those gusty winds remain in some of the same areas. We will see speeds fluctuate throughout the week. Some days a little breezier, some days wind gusts a little bit less, but still breezy southwest winds in all the same areas. Forecast amounts of precipitation, just very light precipitation and spotty with the thunderstorms over eastern Utah and over central Idaho. As we move into Friday and through the weekend, again, temperatures continue climbing. We will see temperatures about 10 degrees above normal over the eastern half of the Great Basin and returning to normal over western areas. You will see a lot more yellow and brown on the map, more of a moderate risk of large fire going into the weekend as conditions continue to dry out and warm up. As we go into Saturday, very similar pattern, more drying. Sunday, more drying as well. Some moisture tries to creep into southern areas of the Great Basin, and by Monday we could see some isolated storms, or by Sunday, Monday, some isolated storms over southern areas. We will continue to watch any return of moisture as we will see several days of drying or up to a week of drier conditions. So again, any return of lightning, we'll continue to monitor that. If we do see some dry lightning, we may have some high risk before some of the deeper moisture works its way north towards the middle of the month. No real change in the 7-day precip from the 3-day, as all of that precipitation really falling today and tomorrow with any lightning activity. And then the 8 to 14-day outlook from July 2nd through the 18th still shows very warm conditions, but we do see a return of that monsoonal moisture by mid-month, so we will see better chances of wetting rains with thunderstorms across Utah and the Arizona Strip. Still very spotty as you move further west, so we'll continue to watch Idaho and Nevada as this moisture takes hold for any drier lightning on the western fringes. That concludes our webcast for today. Check back tomorrow for the latest updates.